All right, so this is our last free response problem on this packet. So we have the rate of change of the wolf population, n, which I think stands for number, directly proportional to 350 minus n. I'm going to stop right there and do part A, which says just write a diffeq. So that is going to be the rate of change of n with respect to time equals k times 350 minus n. Then part B says go ahead and solve the differential equation. And it's not quite a Newton's law problem because it's in the format of 350 minus n instead of n minus 350. So let's go ahead and separate, integrate, and solve on this one. So if I separate, I get n over 350 minus n equals k times dt. Then I want to integrate both sides of the equation. And by the way, that was dn over 350 minus n. So when I integrate on the left, I get the natural log of 350 minus n, and to undo the chain rule on this negative sign, I need to bring a negative sign out in front and leave it with kt plus c on the right. Now I cannot exponentiate until I don't have a negative sign in front of the natural log. So I'm going to multiply through by a negative to get ln of 350 minus n, still in the absolute values, equals negative kt minus c. Then I can exponentiate both sides of the equation. And I will have at that point 350 minus n, still in the absolute values, equals e to the negative t, negative kt minus c. Then I can combine, absorb my absolute value and combine the e to the negative c on the right to become a. So I have 350 minus n equals ae to the negative kt. We're told at time equals 0, there are 200 wolves in the population. So if I plug in time equals 0 and 200 over here on the left, I get that my a value is 150. So let's go ahead and plug in what I have so far. And let's go ahead and solve for n. I think that would be the easiest thing to do because, well, that's what they asked me to do in part B, is to solve the diffeq. So let's subtract 350 from both sides. And then I need to multiply through by a negative n. So I'll get, or multiply through by a negative 1 to get n equals negative 150 e to the negative kt plus 350. I still need to solve for k, the constant of proportionality. So it says here when time equals 3, I now have 300 wolves. So what I'm going to do is go into my calculator, and I'm going to solve for the equation when I have 300 wolves. That's my n right here. That's going to equal negative 150 e to the negative k times, and then if time is 3. So it'll be negative 3 times, and I'll use x for k, so I don't have to use the alpha key. So e to the negative 3x plus 350, and then solve it for x, so comma x, parentheses, enter. And I find out that my k value is the ln of 3 over 3. So let me write down my final answer, well, not my final answer to B, but the answer that includes, that just gives the actual solution to the curve. So n equals negative 150 e to the negative ln of 3 over 3 t plus 350. So that is the solution to the diffeq. Then they want us to use this equation to predict the wolf population at time equals 5. So back to the calculator. What I want to put in is negative 150 e to the negative ln of 3, negative natural log of 3, close paren on the 3, divided by 3, and then times t, close paren in that exponent, add 350. Let's hit enter just to make sure we have that correct. Let's see, it looks like we combined, Looks like we did a little bit of work here, but they simplified it for us, but my original here is correct, so I'm good. And then scroll to the end and do such that t equals 5. And this is going to give us the number of wolves at time equals 5. So I'm going to grab it into the row, hit green diamond, enter, and note that there are about 325 or 326 wolves.